um, some little difficulties this morning with connecting to the live here, but hopefully you can see me. I'll wait a few minutes for those to come in the chat. I know I kind of deviated, but I'll wait a few minutes. There was a few things going on technology wise, but I am here. Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Sorry about that. There was some difficulties with getting to the community here with online. There's 4 people in the room. I need you to hit the likes. Hi, Hayes. Good morning. Hit the likes if you're in the room here so we could go on and get started and they can see the live that's here. Hi. So go on and hit the likes. Um, if you can, not if you can, but please hit the likes because then the algorithm will recognize that I'm here, even though I posted this schedule. But sometimes it takes a few minutes for others to see that I'm here. So, welcome. Good morning. I hope everything is well with everyone on this Thursday morning. And I'm going to get started just in a few minutes. I want to make sure that you know I'm running to the Ecliptic Spiritualist. Welcome if you're new to the channel, friends of the channel, North Node family, those that have been here for quite a while, welcome this morning. So if you're new, welcome. We're glad to have you. Make sure you hit the likes so we can go on and get started on the magic of the moon. What is the divine feminine? Who is she to us? So just give a few minutes, like another 60 seconds before I get started. I'll give a little intro. Um, Keep in mind that we have this whole week still remaining in front of us. Next week we have a full moon. So that's why we're diving into the moon energy and how she affects us and a lot of the things that I do share here. Good morning, everybody. That I share does with the moon cycles, spiritual practice, lining yourself up with your own individual spiritual practice is very important. Hit the likes. There are 8 people in. Can you please hit the like button? That lets other people know that we're here in the algorithm. So, and I'm going to get started. So, if you're new, old to the channel, family, we're going to be having some series of some things. Hopefully, each Thursday, you meet me here at about 9:15 Eastern Standard Time, and it help guide you in being more connected with different topics that I'll be going over, and especially we need to understand the different cycles that have switched since 2020. So, in saying that, I've been here 3 minutes, so they'll get the replay. Okay. So, make sure there's 9 people in the room. If you come into the chat here, please take the time to hit the likes. And when you see the videos come up, or you don't see them come up in your feed, sometimes they whistle so you won't. Make sure that you're hitting the likes for our channel so that we're visible in the social media platforms. Okay. So, what is the magic of the moon? What is the magic of the moon? Well, and what is the divine feminine? Okay. So, why is the moon referenced as she if you're not familiar? Well, we reference her as she is a form of energy that all beings possess. So all beings possess the energy of the divine feminine. Is symbolic to the moon, lunar energy, and it is opposite of the divine masculine. Okay, it's opposite of the divine masculine. If you see me I'm looking at my notes, stay on track to make sure that I'm bringing you the full blown information that I sat and go over and dial into myself to make sure I bring you what is necessary for your life. I do take time to sit with it, meditate, making sure information that I do sit and meditate and see what spirit has for me to say. I don't just shoot from the hip. This is not a game to me or something lighthearted to me, because to me, working with the divine feminine and the divine masculine is the opposite of that. But working in your spiritual life, you are a spiritual being having a human experience. You're not a human experience having a spiritual being. No, you are vertical if you're here. From my aspect, you can have different viewpoints and how you connect with the universe and different things. We all have our own perspective, but as a person that's coming as an instructor and as a teacher and as a guide, we are vertical, in my opinion. We're vertical to divine energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We're vertical, going up and down. And then we're inward beings, meaning that we feed our spiritual beings, our spiritual self. And then we're horizontal, going out to others that are connected to us, our family, friends, children, animals, co-workers, whomever our beings in our life, we're outward. So we're vertical, going up, inward into our spiritual being, feeding ourselves, and then horizontal, going out. Every day, you should be taking time to fill yourself up with gratitude, filling your filling your cup up first. You can't go out into doing things with your family, friends, work, whatever your lifestyle is, wherever you are in your life, your spiritual practice should be first, so that way you're meeting and feeding yourself, so it's so that you are equipped for the day. Day is not going to be perfect. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We're with imperfections. We came into this journey and to follow through with things we have made a decision to do to come here in the earth. So, in saying that, hit the likes. There's 10 here, hit the likes. In saying that, it is something that we should put in ourselves first, putting yourself first, spiritually, feeding yourself. But that's vertical to the divine, feminine, masculine energy, God, creator, whatever way you want to call it. Here in this, where I come from as a teacher, I do believe in divine infinite. I do. God, whatever name you want to give it. I'm personally, I don't want to live in this earth just depending on my own energy. I know that in my personal experience and through life choices, that it has always been a higher connection that has been able to carry me throughout the thousand of steps that I've made in this life form. So moving right along. So she is a form of energy, the divine feminine, that we all possess the symbolic energy, which is part the moon. The moon. Lunar energy is what she's called. The moon is the divine feminine and is the opposite of the divine masculine, which the divine masculine is the sun. So moon is feminine, divine feminine, sun divine masculine. Okay. So if you already know that, great. If you don't, great. If you need a refresher, great. Either way, you're here to hear what it is to fill your cup this day. So the moon, which is the divine feminine, she is the mystery, the unknown, the dark, the yin, the womb, the intuitive, the restful, the receptive, the changeable. The moon is the divine feminine. The the moon magic of her, lunar moon, which is our moon, our divine feminine, teaches us the following. There is a time to be visible. This is the thing that the divine feminine teaches us through the moon. Hit the likes. There are 11 people in here. Hit the likes. Okay. Um, there is the moon teaches us that there is a time to be visible, and then there is a time to retreat and go within. Hit the likes, please. So you should know that part of your life. There is a time to be visible, and there is a time to retreat, to go within. That's what the moon shows us, the divine feminine. The moon also teaches us, like the seasons, the cycles of birth, death, rebirth with each lunation of the moon, okay, of the moon. As we are falling back to our now awakening, so some of us are falling back into who we are. Hit the likes. There's 13 people in here. Hit the um as we are falling back into maybe our systems and filling our cups and taking time to learn or taking time for ourselves, our spiritual practice on a daily basis. Some of us that are coming into this season are now awakening to the divine feminine, more so not functioning only in the divine masculine, which is the sun, to the secular or circular living with the moon and not just the divine masculine, which is the sun, and the sun represents the yang. So the other moon, Mama Moon, is the lunar and she's the yin, and the sun is the yang. Okay. The sun is the light, the soul of the action, the visible, and the patriarchal culture. Okay. So most of the time in our universe, in our world, if you all, wherever you may be across the world, most of the time we've been functioning in the sun energy, the divine masculine, which now the awakenings is here from 2020, more is functioning into the cyclical living of bringing in the moon, which is the divine feminine. And we're now moving from the patriarchal culture. And I'm going to type that in so you understand what I'm saying. If you do, great. Um, if not, it's okay. Um, make sure I type that. It's kind of um, a slow chat coming in. Um, and I can make someone a moderator if we have a difficulty. I think might be one already. Um, but I wrote in here that the patriarchal culture that we've been living in, mainly the divine masculine energy is what we've been mainly living in. But since 2020, the Great Awakening, and we're moving more into a secular energy of living with the moon, the divine feminine, okay? And not just more so the light, solar action, the visible, with all day visibility of the yang of the sun. The magic of the moon qualities allows us the space and time to explore our emotions. The moon does, the magic of the moon, she allows us to explore our emotions. And we've been more exploratorial of our emotions since about 2020. More of our emotions are bubbling up, they're coming more to the surface. Even those that don't show emotions or been emotionalist, you can't miss the energy of now, of how our emotions are more so prevalent inside of you. Some people are still trying to suppress those emotions, but with this circular living of the moon, divine feminine coming in and to her glory, she's allowing us to do what? Explore our emotions and our in our inner guidance, being guided by our intuitive side, listening to that. Okay. And so the moon teaches us to move from head thinking, which is to more heart feeling. Okay. So the moon allows us to move more from our head thinking to our heart, to our heart feeling. Okay. And some of that is very challenging for many since they have mainly been operating from a divine masculine energy of suppression and more visibility and moving at high speeds all the time. And since 2020 came in which something I have been talking about on this channel, prophetically, there was going to be a major shift in 2019 and 2018. You have no choice but to allow yourself to be more fluidity versus just more rigid, it's not effective. And some people are going through a lot of challenges with employment, maybe working from home, non working, with being at home, with their families more or not being at home. Maybe some are living in transitional housing and different things like that to figure out where their placement is in the earth. Where is it that you are today? Who are you today? And those are that are being posed to you and moving you out of the divine masculine into the divine feminine. And her speaking to you and telling you, hey, you must get in touch with your feelings to move within this earth the way that you've come here to truly be, to truly operate. And then it's more effective in how you can bring in the proper frequency into yourself. So when you think it and you think one way and you think your frequency is this way and the frequency is that way, everything lines up immediately and then you manifest. So you have to be able to do that and allow yourself to rest as well. The moon is, she's dark, meaning she comes at the night and she has all these different 9 phases, but she's telling us to take more rest. Rest is best, you know. Rest will allow you to think more clearly, to get more in tune with yourself, to take downtime. She's also part of Mother Nature. To get outdoors or create an energy within your space, a special space that's connected to nature, so that you're having that vertical connection to the divine, that vertical connection here, and then going from within that inner spiritual being and who you are. Okay, so that is very important with the divine feminine, the moon. She wants that, so you have to take the downtime, even if you're so used to moving. Hit the likes, there's 15 in here, to be able to move in a restful space of trust. And that's what the moon is all about too. It's not trusting everything that's seen, like the sun, the yang, the solar, the vision, but going to within the unseen, knowing your intuitiveness, hearing when yourself is saying, pivot, pivot. You actually taking and doing it and not second guessing it. And then you find out that you got to go through a loop again, be on the loop because you didn't take heed to the proper choice. We make over 35,000 choices per day. Per day. If you see my community post, we make 35,000 choices a day from the time we wake up. And so all of our choices can be mundane, it can be quick decisions, different things like that. But the choices that we make, if we're sitting and taking the time where the moon is telling us to get in touch with our feelings, the divine feminine, so we're making good choices. We're not going to always hit it on spot all the time, but if we're taking down time to understand it, we could pivot and say, oh, that wasn't a great choice, and make a correction very quickly and teach our star children, star kids, the kids that are coming through the ethers right now, listening to them because they're star children. They're children of the light, that they're divine moon. They're not working in the old astrological energy that some of us were born in, but those that are awake now, we're no longer operating in that old energy, but allowing to be sensitive to the children that is coming up to understand it with a lot of knowledge and speed. And that way you are emotionally balanced enough. All of us, when we're doing spiritual practice with the divine, understanding that she's our circular living aspect, so that way we're guiding ourselves properly and emotionally guided and full of guidance, so that way we don't bring up other generations or ourselves in continual abuse of not knowing. So many people are abused in themselves and speaking things in themselves or been abused from their past or just yesterday and different things, and not acknowledging that, hey, I can work with my inner self vertically, the divine feminine, those things within my life very quickly, and not saying that you can't if you take the time to do so. Okay, so moving right along, we have 9 phases of the moon, and at each point in the lunar cycle, the moon has something different to show us and teach us. So we have 9 phases of her. And what is she doing? She's like, hey, you have something different to show us and teach us about ourselves. Okay. When you join Patreon along with stopping by each Thursday at 9:15. It will I will be sharing a lot of different content, but right now focusing on Mother Moon, Mama Moon. She's beautiful, and how she has opened up more to us since 2020, and to move with her energy to preserve your vertical connection to her. Okay. That doesn't mean get rid of the divine, the divine masculine in it either, but functioning into this aspect and not being afraid to get in touch with your feelings, especially of us that have been raised in different climates and different situations, and maybe our parents, our guides, which is some of our parents, or non-parenting, or whatever life choice that you chose to come through this soul contract through. At the end of the day, we can live a life of wholeness and balance and completeness, even with our imperfections, so that that way we're moving in a level of forgiveness and peace. And then your frequencies will be balanced, and then that you want to bring into your life, it will surely be there for you, and you won't continuously be on a loop. Or as I said 3 to 4 years ago, always on the figure eight, you know, on the figure eight, or on the loop, on playback, on replay. No, moving with the divine feminine, Mother Moon, you can get off the loop. Because what is she saying? She's saying that, hey, I got so many different uh, things to teach you throughout the lunar cycle, the 9 phases that she goes through. Okay, so um, it is about time to experience or get on track with the cycles self, and to cultivate your own relationship with Mother Moon, and some of the relationships that have been sent to you that is supposed to teach you and you're supposed to teach others. But you can only do that when you're in contact with your spiritual self, your spiritual being, living in a human experience, but taking the quality time each day to give gratitude to the universe, to the God, the source, the spirit, the lover of your soul who developed you. Okay. So, and that's part of divine feminine, divine masculine. But we're focusing on that divine feminine because she's coming in to reset things since 2020. Okay. So I suggest to get a few items to dive deep for yourself and on your own time. And that is one of my top tier things, is that every spirit, your spiritual life should always incorporate some type of journal. You should always have some type of journal in your life, maybe bringing in with working with Mother Moon, looking at pictures about the moon, cutting out pictures, pasting it to your journal, connecting to the phases, getting a moon app, putting it on your phone to each day looking at the phases and seeing how, taking a little notes and comments to yourself. How does that moon phase affect you? I always talk about here the new moon and the full moon, just to give you some guides. And but there's so many phases, but I'll be talking about those phases. So get your journal to start off if you don't already have one. If you've gotten off track, get that. Don't make a lot of commitment to yourself, about 20 different commitments to do spiritual work. Just get started and just be committed to who? Yourself. Yourself. So, in saying that, do you have any questions for me? Stay on topic. If you're interested in getting a psychotherapeutic reading, contact me by my website or email. If you need counseling, diagnostic consultations, contact me by email or my website. If you're interested in spell work, contact me there. You need to get into master classes because they deal with a lot of areas that happens on Saturdays at 8:30. You need to do that. I'm nodding yes. A lot of you need it. You need it. Invest into yourself. It will never leave your life. It goes into your future and it multiplies. Yes, it costs, but it will change your life. Along with joining Patreon, it's more of a focus area where it's not where it's any interruption and you're learning there because there's a lot of self-paced things going there. Do you have any questions for me? I'll take two and then we'll move on out of here. Any question? Heard you. 100%. Yes. Thank you for the wonderful information. You're welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Chantrice, prioritizing that. Absolutely. Thank you. What's impact of the moon on Ayana, I'm sorry. I'm trying to read what's impact of moon on 222. What's the impact? Is that what you're saying? I'm not sure what you're asking. Hi, Magdalene. Hi, Mary. Hey, everybody. Showstopper. Hi, Annalicia. Good morning to you. What is the impact of the moon if we're talking about for February, Mary in general? What is the impact of the moon? Okay, so the impact you're asking. Okay, so the impact of the moon individually is where you have to pay attention to it. Sometimes, depending on the phases, you have more energy. She's giving you more. Sometimes she's telling you to retreat. Um, Sometimes she's causing you to retreat. Sometimes she's kept telling you to sit back and relax. Sometimes she's giving you super energy. Sometimes you're not sleepy. Sometimes throughout the moon cycles, through the 9 phases of the moon, sometimes you're more tired. Sometimes you have more energy. There's different impacts of the moon, and how you can pay attention to that is noted. So on Patreon, I'll be posting some things there following up with this each week, and then having you to ask questions of yourself. One way to find out about the impact per day is to get a moon and check the moon each day. Okay. And then take a little note to yourself and ask, how do you feel up under this moon influence of the day? What is the moon influence of the day? Okay. So that's something that you can ask yourself each day. How does the moon influence me today? Because sometimes it is very powerful. Like during the past couple of days, you can see the moon during the sun. The moon is visible at the same time as the sun energy, which is the yang. The moon is the yin and the sun is the yang. And why are they showing up at the same time? Because depending on how close we are, because we're pivoting more towards after Mbak, which was in last week. We're in the mid phase of winter and we're getting closer to spring. So the earth is tilting, but it's starting to give us more daylight. So as it starts to tilt this way, then you start seeing the moon and the sun at the same. So if you go out in the mornings and take your nature walk, or when you're driving or something like that, and you get out your car, riding the bus, whatever, take the time, look out, look up into the sky. During this time, you'll see the moon and the sun simultaneously. We're in our first quarter. So how you could do that is just pay attention and ask yourself each day, how does the moon influence you? Okay, each day and getting the moon app. That's very effective. Something that Shadow was saying about how the moon phases impact us from what phase we're born under is very good. A good tip, a good question that she's asking, because it does change during the solar systems. It changes. The moon influences different how it impacts us underneath our birth chart, our sun sign, our ascending and our moon, what moon we're born underneath. That's a whole nother topic of a birth chart. And maybe sometime in the summer I can talk about on Thursdays about birth charts. Maybe I'll do something like that on Thursdays live, and talk about how important it is to know that. But ultimately, and I'm going to close here, ultimately through all of this, it's important to have a relationship with with the creator, the source, God, the divine, which God is divine, masculine and feminine. Where it's important to have that relationship, because you are a spiritual being. When you need to hold on to something in your life and you're going through things in your life, besides having a beautiful community of the North Node family, we're a wonderful community. If you have not joined our community on Patreon, have not joined our master classes on Saturday, you are missing a true community that is assertive, and part we need community these days. Lots of times people don't go anywhere. We're mostly at home, different things like that. It's important to have a community. So in saying that, I'm going to close right here with 30 minutes. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching this playback. I hope that it is helpful to you. Take time to look at it. Join our Patreon. You can go to the About page here on the YouTube. We have this for the first tier and $10 to get the second tier, which is my workbook that's available. It will help you along with contacting me for all of the services. Go to our website. We offer a lot. Join the email there so that I can stay connected with you. I send information quite frequently. I love you for watching today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe the video. Share with others. Don't forget to dive and trust in yourself always. Always put yourself first. And trust the times that you're in, that all things is working out, regardless of what you can't see. Okay. You have to operate in the unseen. That's what all the divine feminine is about. I will see you later. Bye bye.